Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, welcome to the Bruno Fernandes player review. We're going to be reviewing his 89 overall center attacking mid winter refresh card. As we all know, Bruno Fernandes throughout FIFA 20 has been a very solid card, but obviously his use has been a little underwhelming just because of him being in the Portuguese league, having Portuguese nationality. It's a little difficult to link unless you're linking it strictly to Cristiano Ronaldo or an icon. So yeah, let's dive right in. Right off the bat, you can see the 4-star skill moves and the 4-star weak foot is definitely big. Basically, how FIFA 20 is played this year is you need a 4-star weak foot on a player to make them even usable, I guess. But as you can see, the double high work rate is huge, in my opinion, because I have my midfielders tracked back at all times, which is also great. A great point for this card is that his stamina is a 98. So one of my first points that I like to make about this card is that the stamina being a 98, he is a great option as a box-to-box midfielder. His defending is not the highest for a box-to-box midfielder if you're trying to play him for a strictly defensive role. Nonetheless, his defending is higher for a center attacking midfielder. I mean, the closest it gets would be maybe like a Dele Alli scream. So I played 30 games, 29 games with Bruno Fernandes. Played a weekend league with him, played games in Division 3 and Division 4 and Division Rivals. And right off the bat, I noticed the first thing was his pace. His pace is borderline unmatched. There are very few players who seem to move as quickly with the ball, both pace and dribbling wise, as Bruno Fernandes does, and he seems to just, like, you can just take a huge touch and get past defenders. And I understand this year, it seems like with every update, the defenders get faster and faster. But Bruno Fernandes, I've had no issue with defenders catching up to him. It just seems to get by people with a real non-issue. His ball control in-game is phenomenal. His in-game stats is 92, dribbling is 90, so his dribbling is pretty high, but he does in-game. I mean, I've had no issues with heavy touches, poor touches, anything like that. If anything, his dribbling seems to be very similar to other players that I played with that I've played with massively high dribbling ratings. And another thing that I pointed out for a midfielder that is very important to have is his vision. He has 92 vision, which for me is a very underrated stat, because if you've ever played with a midfielder who seems to be good in all aspects except, maybe he has the higher passing stats but seems to play a pass that doesn't seem to go where you want it to go, that comes down to the vision rating. Maybe he'll play it and he'll try and play it behind, or instead of playing it towards a corner flag or wherever it may be. That comes down to the vision rating. But back to what I was talking about with the defensive, he defended very well for a center attacking midfielder's range of motion. Don't let the agility and balance fool you. It's higher than a player like Kevin De Bruyne, which I'm actually confused as to how they're not the same rating, in all honesty. Bruno Fernandes replaced Kevin De Bruyne in my team without even a second thought. Like, he just went straight into the team. Definitely could be played as a box-to-box due to that high work rate, defensive work rate, and the high defense, and pace as well. Obviously, for a box-to-box is nice, 98 stamina. And defensive range just seemed like he got side-to-side very well. For those of you who play with L2 style defending, perfect. I mean, I hold L2 a lot myself, so it was brilliant. He's obviously not going to be one of your primary defenders. I still think you should have at least a no worse than like a Sissoko if you're using a Premier League team. But if you pair him with, I'd pair him with Doucouré and Sissoko for the time being. But I also did play him with Conte for a little bit, and Conte and him, they paired very well together. One of the things that I did not get to try, but I think would work very well, is if you were to play like a Bruno Fernandes and like a Kevin De Bruyne and like a Premier League team. Obviously, it would have to be a Premier League team because of the nationality links. But if you, unless you're throwing icons there, but if you were to play those two next to each other, I think you could make Bruno Fernandes be a more box-to-box player, and Kevin De Bruyne to stay forward, because Bruno Fernandes is one of those players in game that can drop back and play a long ball over the top. Like I mentioned, his passing range is absurd. I haven't played with a player this year whose passing range has been quite as high. Like, it honestly makes Kevin De Bruyne seem like an average passer. Very good on the ball, and he doesn't seem clunky whatsoever, which I know is a major concern with a lot of people, with his agility being is not low, but is not quite as high as some people would like to see. You can see that I've obviously got a sniper on there. so that definitely does increase his dribbling a little bit. So maybe that's the difference. I also never played without the sniper on it. The physical stats definitely could have used a boost. If there were one change that I would make to this card in my review process, I would have definitely tried him with a strength card on there. He seems to get bullied off the ball a little too easy for my liking. Anytime he gets around the box, L2 shielding seems to not really work, albeit it does not seem to work for anyone this year. It just doesn't seem to be like a very strong card, which, I mean, for some people who tend to use like a Neymar or a Messi where they're not the strongest on ball anyways, that's fine. But at the same time, his dribbling and how quickly he can dribble does get him out of a lot of situations where you would need some strength to be able to get out of those situations. Instead, you can dribble your way out. Yeah, like I said, can stop on a dime. His passing range is phenomenal. And now this might come as a surprise to some of you, but the one player that I can compare him to the best, to give you guys the best idea of how he's going to play, is honestly going to be a Bernardo Silva, his 91. I believe it's his player moments card. He's currently in my team, actually, so I've been able to test him for over 250 games. So Bernardo Silva's 91 card is the closest I can get. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is going to be a little stronger. His stats are obviously better. Passing's better. Shooting's better. Stats like that are better. So it is all around a better card. Don't let the rating of an 89 compared to a 91 fool you. I think all around, this card is seriously one of the best cards I've used this year. Definitely one of the most fun cards to use all year. I thoroughly enjoyed being able to review him for the 29 games that I did. And as you can see, I mean, he had a great goal and assist record for me. Playing in 29 games for me, I obviously bought him off the transfer market. Scored in 24 goals in 29 games, had 19 assists, and there was also a FUT Champs game where he managed to get 5 assists. The game did go extra, into extra time, but getting 5 assists in a FUT Champs game as a Division 3 player, that stood out huge to me. So I definitely am excited to see what the one to watch card is going to look like, especially after he just got his 88 team of the week. All around, do I think this card is worth the 700,000 coins that he cost to get? Honestly, I'm going to have to say no. He's not worth 700,000 coins. Just in my personal opinion, I'm a Manchester United supporter, so I will keep this card just because I have a really fun time playing with it. But I don't think he's worth anything more than like a 600k. So if you can get him for under 600,000 coins, I 100% recommend you need to get this card. But 700,000 is that's a little too steep for him when you compare him to like the likes of Kylian Mbappe, who's in the same price range. I just think that's too steep for that card. I'm gonna play some clips of gameplay. Nothing spectacular, but it's just enough to be able to give you an idea how he moves on ball. His finishing ability did seem okay. 82 finishing, which when you boost it up to a 97, it is quite high, but it doesn't seem to quite play like that 97. The shot power and long shot, do not let it fool you. 95 and 94 is not right. It does not play like that in game. The shot power more of plays like in mid to upper 80s, maybe like an 86, 87 at best. And long shots just doesn't really seem great. It seems like goalkeepers are always picking them out of the corners. Obviously, playing in FUT Champs in a Division 3, that you're playing against icon goalkeepers and the best goalkeepers. Team of the year, Allison. So you're playing against the best goalkeepers. So maybe in a lower division, Division 5, Division 6, lower, when you're playing not as skilled goalkeepers, definitely would recommend this card. But from my personal experience, the long shots did not seem great. His finesse shooting did not seem very strong. There were a lot of times where I would be perfectly squared up to goal, and he would just not seem to get a lot of power behind those shots, which would result in any average goalkeeper being able to make a save. With all that being said, great card, fast, can outrun a lot of defenders, can score goals. Simply put, can score goals, can get assists. I mean, he's going to get you assists no matter what position you play him in. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up on the video, and let me know what you thought. This is my first player review, so I wanted to do it as in-depth as possible, so it might be a little longer than most, but I really wanted to make sure that you guys know what you're getting with an expensive card like this. So if you have any comments, suggestions, anything, leave them in the comment section below. I will make sure to respond to every comment as soon as possible. So yeah, enjoy these clips.
You don't like me, that's established. Keyboard warrior, ugly ass catfish. You can never act this out here, living that lavish life. You should be embarrassed, yikes. Cash in the vault, so it's safe to say your boys stay dry on the rainy days. Royal flow, put me center stage. Walter White, bitches say my name. Coming at me, you need stamina. This ain't for amateurs, waiting for hours and hours to shine on the camera. Still got you powerless. Life is a bitch, but she look like an hourglass. Got no time for this shit. Doubling down, cause I'm trying to get rich and I'm trying to take it to another level. Got 100 bags, 400 bezels. I'm a fucking rebel. I shoot first, carry the game cause the shoes hurt. Put it all on my back, weather the storm, then make it rain till it's 3 in the morning. From dirt to rocks to private planes, home studios to live on stage. And ain't nothing changed, we've been going in since day. Loyalty pays, you've been waiting for that royalty wage. It's never gonna come, is it? Like your girl, throw me her digits, I'ma show her what a real man like. Plenty commas when we fly, no empty bottles day or night. For this life, it's ride or die.
Young winner, come fear us. I'm a god like Beerus. Make my mark like over Mars, I don't see nobody coming near us. Ain't no limit where we're going now. I got women always showing now. On the viewing, any Judas Lumen make 'em missing, ain't nobody kissing now. Young winner, young sinner, peace when I'm done, then a head spinner, cash spinner, brother, I'm the breadwinner, bread, but I run, got a UMP, the soul son, a Janik lover, weapon lover, enemies, and they never bubble, whoa. My life, I'm keeping it all on the low. Who am I fucking, or you wanna know? Started this all on my own with a venomous flow, as the C to the E to the O. I came in gold with the fitness. Millions are low with to witness. Millions are low with the bank. Millions are low with the business. Can't come with me up an echelon. The real OG, the YouTube dog, fuck your number one, cause I'm limitless. Don't fuck with me, else I'm leaving you spiritless. Nah, nah, nah. Why is my ex trying to message? I don't wanna talk to you. Nah, nah, nah. Even this guy wants some money, you know I don't fuck with you. Nah, nah, nah. Tweeting your piece on the net, let me come there and humble you. Nah, nah, nah. I'm on a level where even the devil is scared of me. I got some enemies. Always will hate till I die, cause I fucked up their legacy, negative energies. All of the bitches I finish, I keep them in memories. Fuck all my enemies. I am the king of the sheep, you can say it's the one that be keep being under me. I'm on another level, I'm a new age rebel, cause young winner, come fear us. I'm a god like Beerus. Make my mark like over Mars, I don't see nobody coming near us. Ain't no limit where we're going now. I got women always showing now. On the viewing, any Judas Lumen make 'em missing, ain't nobody kissing now. Young winner, come fear us. I'm a god like Beerus. Make my mark like over Mars, I don't see nobody coming near us. Ain't no limit where we're going now. I got women always showing now. On the viewing, any Judas Lumen make 'em missing, ain't nobody kissing now.